So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and I co-host this weekly training with Diana Hunter and Gary Knapp. And as we always say, it takes each and every one of you who are listening either and watching either live or later down the track, because without you, we wouldn't have the successful call that we've had for many, many years now. We're very grateful to be here with you, and we're passionate about this message. And really the solution, whether it's wellness, whether it's purpose, whether it's lifestyle, people are praying for what we have. So I've got my whole family off the internet. I'm still getting an unstable internet message, so my apologies if it's warbly. Our guest speaker this morning is Kevin Robbins. Kevin is a dear colleague in Manatech. He's very dedicated to our company at all levels, and I'll just give you a little bit about his background. Alongside a career in marketing and real estate, Kevin Robbins began part-time with Manatech in 1994. He started with a priority on his well-being, but rapidly started to recognize the power of the income potential. By 1996, Kevin was able to dedicate his career to Manatech full-time, and in 2003, he was awarded the global recipient of the Ray Robbins Giving Spirit Award. In 2012, Kevin was recognized as one of the top global business builders of the year. He spent 8 years on the North American Associate Advisory Committee and now serves on Manatech's board of directors. He brings to the board 22 years of invaluable Manatech field experience and offers a powerful voice from the associate perspective. Kevin has a keen knowledge of the power of a residual income home business, and there's never been a more important time for us to be sharing this message passionately to everyone we know and love. So I know we're just going to start today a little bit different in that we'll start with some personal stories of some of us who have dedicated and partnered with Manatech for some time. And Diana, can you start, please?
Thanks, Sharon. I'd be delighted. Look, I was first introduced to Manatech about 22 years ago now, and it was Sharon that introduced me. She'd heard about the products at a dinner party, and I'd had a long-term health history challenge, and she thought maybe I should take a look, which I did. And long story short, I jumped in there with the products. They made sense to me, and after a 15-year struggle with my health, I had light at the end of the tunnel, and over about an 18-month period made a full recovery. So that turned my head, and it just so happened that I'd moved to regional Queensland. That had been a lifestyle choice for me, but it became really obvious very quickly I wasn't going to be able to rely on the local area for the income and the lifestyle I desired. In addition to that, I'd always been someone who puts 100% of who I am into what I do. And I was doing some contract work and had turned a business situation around for a local company. And 6 months into that contract, they pulled the rug on my job. But it was a defining moment for me, because I thought that's the last time I'm putting all of who I am, my talents, my skills into someone else's business. I'm going to reserve some of that for myself. And so I jumped in there. I'd already seen the integrity, not only of the products, but of the company and the people involved. So I went on the learning curve. How do you go about successfully sharing the message of these products in the business with other people? And I built this full-time income working part-time in this business. And again, the rest is history. I have other soul work that I do. So Manatech is at least half of my business life now. And, really has delivered an income for me for those entire 22 years, and particularly showed up during COVID. Some of the income that I was receiving through other sources dried up, but Manatech not only continued, it actually increased, and it really brought home that message of the value of extra streams of income, but streams of income that stay solid no matter what's happening in the economy. So I love this business. I love this company. I love the community. And I also love the core mission, the heart of the mission of the company, which is to contribute into other people's lives, whether it be for income into the household, for the health and well-being of their family, or through the contribution that we do to children around the world through our social entrepreneurship programs. So that's my story. Delighted to be here and share it. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Diana. And Gary Knapp, would you like to go next, please?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Diana. That was fantastic. My story goes way back. I've been a professional skydiver for 42 years. I can't believe it. I've done over 10,000 skydives, and part of that journey was that I started the first commercial tandem skydiving operation in Europe, where it kept raining all the time. So I moved the whole thing to Australia, and I started the Australian National Skydiving Centre, which was a huge success. It was fantastic business, and I got to jump out of an aeroplane 15 times a day. And it got pretty big, and I ended up with 17 full-time and 35 part-time employees, which turned it into running an adult daycare centre, basically. And one of the ladies that worked for me, she actually asked me if I'd heard of network marketing. This is going back, 25 years. And I have an honours degree in business and marketing, and I'd never heard of network marketing. So I have an open mind, which is very, very important in this whole situation. And I love marketing, so I was intrigued by it, and I looked into it, and I was just absolutely blown away by the business model. Having that business background and a degree in business, I could see the advantages of network marketing, and it really, really did get my interest. And I joined the company that she was promoting, which was a very large one beginning with A, and I absolutely hated it. It was really rah-rah, and it just wasn't me at all. And at the same time, I was very fortunate to be part of the Australian skydiving team, and we got big sponsorship. And one of the sports psychologists that was working for us heard this guy on the radio talking about peripheral vision improvement and natural memory improvement. So money was no object. We got him in, and he changed my life. He really changed us. We were all eating normal, fare, and most of the team were addicted to coffee, so we couldn't drink coffee anymore. He proved to us that our performance went down when we drank. When we even thought of the smell of coffee, our performance went down. How about that? And anyway, cut a long story short, he opened my mind to, having a different approach to my health. And I started looking for network marketing companies that were in the health industry as well. And that was just a horrible journey. And I joined about 7 different companies, and I wouldn't give up. And I eventually, as everyone will, if they do really good research, it all will lead to Manatech in the end. That's my belief. And I've been with Manatech ever since. I love the community. I've been paid every single month for over 20 years by Manatech. I have a wonderful team that is, many of the people that I enrolled 20 years ago are still there, still order every month because the products work. And despite what you can find out on the internet, as some people go off and they do their search, just come up again actually in my team. If you do proper research, there's just no arguing that Manatech is just streets ahead of everybody else, and the science is fantastic. I've been fortunate to share it with people where it has changed their lives, and I can tell you there's no amount of money that can give you the feeling that you get when you change someone's life and you share something with them that completely turns everything around. It's amazing. I'm quite emotional. The time we're in now is just, I'm more excited than ever. I mean, it's just, we have a solution that just fits so perfectly into what I believe everyone needs right now. So I'm busier than ever, sharing whenever I can. I'm doing it from home. I'm doing it on Zoom. I'm doing it on webinars like this. it's just a great business to be in. And suffice to say, without making income claims or anything, partnering with Manatech has enabled my wife and I to live our dream life. We, as some of you know, we live off the grid because that was my dream. We produce 100% of our power. We grow a lot of our own, most of our own food. I can't see another house from here out of my office. It's just, I've been self-isolating now for about 15 years, but I have a global business, which is just amazes me every day. So if you are considering it, just do your homework, look into it, join the community. The best way to find out the truth about Manatech is to be in it and do it from the inside. And that's what I encourage you to do. And you'll find an amazing community of intelligent people who've, found the truth.
Gary, it's an awesome story. I love it every time I hear it. Thank you so very much. And Rachel is a new colleague in our Manatech family. We both have a registered nursing background in common. And I know your life was changed in your family from this wellness technology as well. So Rachel, tell us about you and Manatech and why you committed to the business.
Yes, thank you, Sharon, and thank you, everyone. Yes, 2 years ago, my husband had a health crisis that was a near fatal accident, I suppose you would say, where he actually ruptured his esophagus. So just a random vomiting event. He's an amazing fit firefighter, so it wasn't anything that even the health professionals were surprised that this would happen. But after 3 months in hospital, 3 weeks in intensive care, I brought him home, feeding him by a tube. And I fed him for another 6 months. And also he had a drain coming out of his heart cavity out the back, a mediastinal drain. And so I had to nurse that at home. And while I was nursing him, he was on 22 hours a day of a feed going through his nose down into his small bowel. And so, but he was losing weight or just holding weight. And we had as much food going down there. And but 5 years earlier than that, I had done a home health assessment on a lady in her home, and she had an amazing result with a product that her hands, in the way they were shaped and everything, should have hurt when she opened and closed them. And she said she had been taking glycan technology, and that was 5 years earlier. She had planted that seed to me as a nurse who thought, that shouldn't happen. Something's amazing there. And I just put it in the back of my mind. So then all of a sudden my husband was in a crazy place, and I just went, I need those things. And I didn't even know what they were called. So I started searching out, and through a friend's bridesmaid friend, we ended up speaking to somebody, because I was determined. Everyone thought it was so funny that the medical model wasn't actually fully supporting his nutritional needs at that time. So I decided to go and find a scientific pharmacist in another company to try and offset this. And so I was privileged to speak with a gentleman with a pharmaceutical background, with a scientific background, who was able to tell me what could be popped down that tube in a safe way for him. And as soon as that happened, he started to gain weight. To me, it was just like his body knew what to do. Now with that nutrition, the Nutricin feed that he was receiving, he started to gain weight, and his healing finally healed through an assessment with CTs and different types of swallows of things to assess if the esophagus had healed itself, and it had. And he was told he would never fight fires again because of the damage that the hydrochloric acid went around the outside of his lungs when the esophagus compromised. So he knew that he had to lay that career down.
Well, thank you, Sharon, for the introduction. I loved hearing those stories at the beginning. Sharon and I were messaging earlier today, and just talking about what we could do at the beginning. And I would love, and I told her I'd love to hear some associate stories. And so I want to thank you, Diana, Gary, Rachel. There were some great nuggets in there. Now we'll have to move on, and I know all of you heard those nuggets. One of them from Rachel talking about her friend had talked to her about glycans 5 years earlier. And, at that time it was in one ear, out the other, great glycans, whatever. and it wasn't the right time. But she planted the seed. 5 years later, the seed started to develop and there was a need. And she was like, hey, I remember that friend talking to me. What was that stuff again? So I think that's a great takeaway, that being persistent, just again, planting those seeds, just talking to people, and you never know when they will come to harvest. I love Diana and Gary's story as well. Now, Gary said one thing I don't know if I really agree with, and that's the coffee comment he made. I'm just going to pretend I didn't really hear that comment. I'm sure that I function at my peak with coffee. So, Gary, I will just agree to disagree with you on that. No. I tell you what, I am glad to be here this morning. It is Friday evening for me, so I may say at night or evening at some point during my talk, but I know it's Saturday morning in Australia. Thank you for having me here. I did hear that Laura Dana Zinka is going to be your speaker next week. I just want to give her a quick little plug. She actually happens to be in my group, and I'm only saying that I have very little to do with her success. She is a self-made woman, but I do know a little bit of her story, and you guys are going to love hearing from Laura Dana. She actually is from a war-torn Eastern European country. That's where she was born, and that's where she grew up. And I'm sure she'll share some of that story. She was eventually adopted by a Canadian family, a wonderful family in Canada who raised her in Canada, but she came to North America not knowing our language, not knowing our culture. And yet today, as she's now grown up and she's married and has her own family, one of the things that is so valuable to her is this sense of entrepreneurship, the sense of being able to have your own business. And, you know, sometimes we take that for granted, that idea, that entrepreneurial spirit, the opportunities we have. But when you're from certain countries, certain parts of the world, they don't have those opportunities. They're not there. And so to have these opportunities is phenomenal. And so she's taken the entrepreneurial spirit. She builds her business a lot on social media, and she'll be sharing that. But I just really want to put that plug in because you guys are going to love hearing from Laura Dana next week. And so I'm very happy that Sharon was able to invite her for you guys. All right, so I want to share my screen, and I'm going to bring up a presentation that...
Kevin, I'll just go off camera, but I'll be here if you need anything.
Okay, great. Let's see. Pull this up right there. Perfect. Okay. So this is a presentation that I personally share with new people. I also give this on a Tuesday night live. A lot of our leaders in the United States and Canada use this presentation. It's about the gig economy. And of course, I'll be sharing more about that as I go through this presentation. But it really speaks to where people are right now, I believe. At the end, we get into a little bit of how the compensation plan works. It's not a big deep dive. It's more of just a basic guideline for how somebody can start their business. So if you're watching this and you're kind of looking at Manitech for the first time, I want to give you some reasons, some handles for why Manitech is a great business to be a part of, and why we're in this industry, this gig economy business that is just booming, but yet we're really standing out as one of the real unique companies that you can, as the testimonies shared earlier, that you can build a phenomenal long-term business. Now we're going to talk about part-time income. Because so many people in the gig economy business are looking for part-time income. That's what they're looking for. But certainly, Manitech is a business that can create the long-term career type income. But today, what I have found, and what so many others of us have found, is that there are more people looking for part-time income that are looking for a full-time career job change. And so really one leads to the next. And so we talk a lot about part-time income, about making about $500 up to $1,000 a month that can make a real difference in people's lives. That's what we talk a lot about because that connects with many, many people today. But of course, if you can make $500 or $1,000 per month, continue to do some of those things that got you to that level, and that income can continue. And that's why Manitech is such a great opportunity. And I'll be sharing some of those with you. So I did just kind of want kind of set the stage there as we go through this presentation. So we are going to be talking about the gig economy. This is a fairly new industry, if you will, that has kind of come about over the last kind of 5 to maybe 10 years. And it's where people have an opportunity to have their own business, but be able to start those businesses with maybe very small investment, to be able to do it part-time, as I just talked about, while they still may have a job for working for somebody else. That job's paying the bills, but it's not building wealth. It's not building their ability to pay off their debt, or it's not building their ability to enjoy a better lifestyle. So many people are participating and joining this gig economy, so much so that in the United States, 57 million people are part of the gig economy in the United States. We only have about 350 million people in the entire United States. 57 million is a huge percentage of those people that are participating in the gig economy. I read a statistic about Australia, though. Sharon sent me some articles and some really interesting information about how big this gig economy is in Australia, and certainly in New Zealand as well. But in August, you had a jobs report that came out in August for all of Australia that said that Australia grew by 110,000 new jobs in Australia, which is great for the month of August. But when they dug down into the data, what they found is that almost all of those new jobs, those new people that were finding new employment, if you will, were part of this gig economy, which really is not a job. It's not employment, but they don't know how to talk about those things. So they put it in the jobs report. But still, almost all of the job growth was coming from the gig economy. And you see some of the companies on the screen. I'm sure you would recognize Uber, Airbnb, Lyft, Lending Club. There's hundreds, probably thousands of these opportunities. And so let's talk a little bit about why gig economy is really flourishing right now. It's because, first of all, online businesses are really growing. They're putting brick and mortar retailers out of business. I think you would probably recognize that. And so much of the gig economy, I think that's actually the third bullet point there, is technology driven. Many of these are on an app, and so they're very technology driven. The traditional 9-to-5 business model is changing. A lot of those jobs are drying up. And again, that was way before this crazy situation we have in the world right now, where they're definitely drying up. But these 9-to-5 jobs where you work for a company, for your entire life, those just aren't as prevalent as they used to be. And so people have to take that responsibility themselves for their financial future. People also, another big reason why the gig economy is really flourishing is because people are desiring more freedom and more flexibility and being able to work from home. Now, the freedom and flexibility, this is big because it's a lot. Some of these gig businesses look like a job or an employment. Let's just use Uber, for instance. Well, there's taxi drivers. They have a job. They work for a company. Somebody tells them where to be, what time to be there. It's a typical job that they have, the 9-to-5 job. Obviously, in taxi, they're probably not always working 9-to-5, but it's a job. Whereas Uber or Lyft, you work for yourself. You tell yourself when you want to go to work or when you don't want to work or where you want to work. And it's simply self-motivated. The more time you put in, the more money you can make. And there's obviously a lot of different advantages beyond that. But that time and flexibility is huge. Now, the last one, working from home, that doesn't actually apply to some of the gig businesses, whether that's the car sharing applications, or there's a lot of food delivery or other service delivery gig businesses that are out there. And so those are ones where you have to be out and about. And again, in a normal world, those are fine. But right now, most people are wanting to have some flexibility and be able to work at home. So again, that's where Manatech becomes what I'm calling the ultimate gig. I believe it's the best gig business out of all the opportunities that are out there. And of course, I'm going to be sharing with you this morning why I believe that is true. Some of the advantages are just here in a list that, obviously getting started with Manatech is very low cost. To be an associate is very, very low. In the United States, it's $49. I don't know what the entry is in Australia, but I know it's very, very low. And so it's a low risk way to get started. When I first started working with Manatech, people didn't really understand the concept of having your own business. Most people, when they thought of starting a business, the first thing they thought about is they had to invest a lot of money, that a business would cost $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, or in some cases, $1 million in certain businesses. And so this idea of starting your own business, especially on the side, I'm talking 25 years ago, that wasn't what people were thinking about then. And so we had to talk about some of the advantages of being able to start this business with low risk. Well, today, more and more people are understanding the benefits and the values of having your own business. It's very low risk to start these gig businesses. And again, with Manatech, very low entry cost. This idea of part-time income, working from home anywhere, people love that concept. This is not a type of business where you have to make a decision between the current job you have, whether you might be a school teacher, a nurse, a corporate employee for a big company, whatever. You might be a medical doctor or a nurse. I already said that, or a attorney or something like that. You can continue to do your full-time career while you're building towards your future as a part-time career. That's amazing. And again, with Manatech, working anywhere can mean right now working at home. That used to mean my family loves to travel, and we travel the world and go to some amazing places, and I can still conduct my Manatech business on my phone or on the computer. So I can be anywhere in the world and work my Manatech business. And I love that. Well, right now, many of us are wanting to be able to work our business from home. And that's absolutely what we can do with Manatech. This is a business where we're going to offer you some personal training and coaching. You don't have to do it by yourself or be in business. You're in business for yourself, but you don't have to do it by yourself. And that's a big difference. So you get individual training with, like I said, people on this call can give various amounts of training. We also have some very good videos and other types of more structured training as part of Manatech. We can leverage technology for social selling. Now, this is something that Laura Dana Zinka next week is going to talk about a lot. But this is a new area, not just for Manatech, but really for entrepreneurial type business to be able to leverage this technology through social media. And Manatech's got some fantastic opportunities to do that. And again, Laura Dana will be talking about that next week. There's no inventory and there's no shipping. This is actually something that some people don't understand in the beginning. So that's why we put it in here. So as you're working with Manatech, what our job is simply to communicate with other individuals that are looking for ways to improve their health, that might be looking for a way to be in better fitness or potentially lose some fat, maybe improve their sports nutrition, various areas like that. And then connect them to Manatech. They buy directly from Manatech. We do not have to inventory the product and sell it out of our homes or anything like that. Manatech handles all of that for you. So that means there's also no shipping as well, that Manatech does all of that. When I say no, you're not responsible to handle the shipping. Or we're also looking, by the way, for people that are looking for extra ways to make some extra income. But regardless of what their need is, we're simply the messenger. We simply communicate with people, whether it's through a video or through text message or social media, or in different times. We might sit down with them at a coffee shop. Don't do that as much anymore. Or through Zoom, share some information, connect them to Manatech. And then Manatech has the technology to make sure all of those connections stay in place, so that the company knows who was responsible for bringing that person in, and then ultimately you're going to build a team. And I'll talk about that. But that's what we do. That's what our business looks like. You don't have to put strangers in your car or invite them into your home. That's kind of talking about those other gig businesses where you're out driving around, putting people in your car, or going to someone's house and bringing them some delivery. Or obviously there's some gig businesses where you would literally invite people into your home to stay in a room, or maybe to use your home for a week or something like that. Those are big gig businesses, but right now those businesses are not very appropriate for the time that we live in today. So let's talk about Manatech specifically. Just give you some additional bullet points about Manatech. As I think you heard in the beginning, we've been around for about 25 years, actually going on 26 now. But we were founded in 1994, and we operate in a $4.2 trillion health and wellness industry. Now, why is that important? Well, you want to be, if you're going to choose to be in a business, if you want to choose to be in a gig business, you want to be in one that is expanding and that's growing, and that there's a lot of demand for your particular product or service that you're offering. And about 20 years ago, so this is around the turn of from 1999 to 2000, there were some economists that were predicting the wellness industry. Now, this is not the sickness industry. This is the health and wellness industry. This is about being responsible for your health, for your wellness, whether that's through exercise or through supplementation, or various other ways that we focus on our health and wellness. But they were predicting that industry was going to be the next $1 trillion industry. So in other words, it was significantly less than 1 trillion, and they were predicting that this industry was the right industry to be in because it was going to be the next $1 trillion industry. Well, today in 2020, the health and wellness industry is now a $4.2 trillion industry. So it has absolutely been exploding over the last 20 years, but it will continue to grow. And, today, what's the most important thing you can do to be healthy? I believe it's to strengthen your immune system. The most important thing that anyone can do today to stay healthy is to strengthen their immune system. And so there aren't many people that disagree with that. And so there's only a number of ways to strengthen your immune system. Well, certainly at Manatech, we believe that we have product solutions that meet that need in a huge way. This is not a product presentation, so I'm not really going down that road tonight. But most of you on this call recognize the value of Manatech products. And so we have products that meet that demand. People are looking for a better immune system, looking for a way to stay healthy. Obviously, today that's very, very important. From an individual standpoint, I think the thing that I can do for myself and my family to try to ensure that we stay healthy is to keep our immune system strong. Now, I've been doing that for over 25 years, and I absolutely believe in it 100%. So that's what it means to be part of this wellness industry, that other people right now are looking for ways to keep their immune system strong. And so our job is to find those people and connect them to Manatech, and that's how our business model works. So Manatech, in addition to being in the health and wellness industry, we operate currently in 26 markets around the world. Now, why might that be important to you? You're watching this morning from Australia, or maybe you're in New Zealand or Singapore, and you're wondering, well, why is it important that Manatech is in 26 countries? Well, because the way our business model is structured, we allow something called seamless compensation, which simply means that from wherever you live, your gig business, your part-time gig business, it may be small right now, it may be large, but your part-time gig business, at some point, you may know someone in a totally different country. Maybe they're from Europe, or maybe you know somebody over here in the United States or Canada, or maybe in Korea, or maybe you don't know anybody from those other countries, but eventually somebody comes into your business that maybe they worked in Japan in a past career, or they were in the military and were over in Japan for a while, or in South Korea. And so the way our business model works is wherever people are, whether they're, your next door neighbor, or whether they're all the way across the world, everyone can be part of your team. And so that's why it's important that Manatech is currently in 26 markets around the world. It gives you more opportunities to introduce Manatech to more people with your gig business. Again, one of the things that makes Manatech very unique, I talked about our products just very briefly a minute ago, is we've invested millions of dollars in research and development. Folks, that's extremely rare, extremely unique for a nutrition company to do that. Most nutrition companies, they have borrowed science, which what that means is they don't do any research themselves. They don't do any studies on their products or their ingredients. They simply borrow somebody else's research, somebody else's study that may have been done on a certain ingredient. Now that might be done on a certain amount, certain milligrams, certain grams, whatever, over an extended period of time to show some results. Now, this particular company may use a similar ingredient. Maybe it's natural, maybe it's not, maybe it's synthetic, maybe it's half the amount that was in that study, maybe it's not. But then they will borrow the benefits from that study and say, oh, well, that ingredient's in our product, so look at all these benefits that that our product offers. They don't do studies on their actual product. What is the interaction with that ingredient with other ingredients in that product? They have no idea. That's not how Manatech operates. Manatech does actual clinical trials, in many cases, the gold standard, which is the double-blind, placebo, gold standard clinical trials that validate that our products with our ingredients produce the results and the benefits that you see on our labels. So when you see that Ambertose improves your immune system, Ambertose has benefits for improving the communication system in the body, or that some other product improves the digestive system, what you can know is that we're not just saying that, we're not borrowing that information from some other study that somebody did. We did studies on our products that prove those results. That is extremely unique and valuable, both from a product and health standpoint. That's the reason we do it. But what I'm talking about now is from a business perspective. If you're going to be in business with a company, you want to make sure that they have excellent products that stand out in the marketplace and that are different from what other companies have. And absolutely, you have that with Manatech. One other bullet point here is that we did a comprehensive survey of our customers. And in this case, our customers are just people who buy our products. And what we found is that our average customer buys products from Manatech for 9.5 years. That's amazing. That's an amazing statistic for loyalty, for continuity, for continuing to value products. So imagine, I'm just going to talk a little business here about that. One of the things that I love about our business that's very different from, say, an Uber, is that when you work for a company in a gig business where you only get paid once. So, you only get paid when somebody gets in your car and you drive them to their destination, and that's the end of it, and you get paid whatever you get paid. Or maybe you pick up some food from a restaurant and you deliver it to someone, and you get paid for that experience. Maybe you get a tip, but it's a one-time thing. And every day when you start your business, you start from the beginning. You start with zero customers, with zero money coming in, and it's simply a matter of, well, how much can I generate in one day? And some days you have a lot of customers, some days you may have none, and you go out and you do your business and you make zero. Well, with Manatech, particularly with our customer loyalty, with people who buy products for month after month after month, year after year after year, you can get paid for something that you did one time. So in other words, you communicated, you followed up, you helped somebody make a decision to buy products, and you're going to be paid for that. But you're not just paid for that one time. You can be paid for that one time. And then when they buy a second month, you're paid again. And a third month, you're paid again. And a fourth and a fifth, and imagine 9.5 years. And that's the average. We have many that have been at Manatech for 20 plus that have been buying every month. Well, that's value in building what we call an asset income business that you don't get with those other gig businesses. You don't get with those other businesses because you're always starting over from scratch every single day. But with Manatech, you can build an asset where you have a number of people that are buying on a regular basis. And, obviously you can get more people, or you can build your team beyond that. But as some of you were sharing some of the testimonials, that have been in for quite a few years, you talk about in good times and bad times and times with crazy pandemic going on or not, the consistency of people buying those products and you being able to still earn an income is invaluable. And to me, that's one of the biggest advantages for Manatech as a gig opportunity versus so many of those other companies that are out there. All right, so let's obviously talk about choosing Manatech. I'm a little partial. I've been with this company for 25 years, but I absolutely love what I do. I love this business model. I love these products, and it's certainly been one of the most valuable decisions that I've ever made in my life to be a part of Manatech. So let's talk about what it would be like if you earn some extra money each month. Now, again, we're talking to people that are interested in making, at this time, some part-time income, $500 to $1,000 a month. What would your life look like if you had an extra $500 to $1,000 a month? Would you be able to maybe pay off some debt, maybe buy a different type of car, maybe pay off the car that you currently have, maybe save up the money and travel some? What would you do with an extra $500 or $1,000 per month? So it is your choice. As I'm talking to you today, the decision to be part of our business model requires you to be what's called an associate. If you want to be part of this gig economy, then we have a designation called associate. And as I said earlier, it's a very small fee to pay to open up your associate account, but you get some free materials and free online tools and things like that. But then you have an associate account where you can buy product and get discounts and get loyalty points and all that wonderful value, but you can be part of the business model and you can be part of earning income. Or we have many other people that at this time, they're not ready to be part of the business model and they want to be a customer. We call them preferred customers. Absolutely free to be a preferred customer. They can get product discounts, again, loyalty points. They can add up and ultimately buy free product and many, many other advantages from being a customer. But what this presentation is about choosing to be an associate. So let's talk very briefly about what that would look like if you chose to be an associate. What are some of the things that you would do? And I've been talking about some of these as I've been going through, but as I said earlier, your job is simply to share the information with people, share about products or business, start finding customers or finding other people that might be looking to make some extra income. We give you some personal websites, some other great tools. There's social media, Zoom calls, these training calls that we're doing right now, and many, many other ways that we can support you in building your business. So what I want to go through now is just a little overview into earning money. I'm just moving some of the video around. It's just a little overview into how you earn money. There's many different ways of earning money, but we've set up just a very simplified system that many people are following in North America that just makes it very easy to know what to do when you get started. So first of all, there's something called a first order bonus. Very basic, very simple. When you enroll a new associate or a new customer, a new preferred customer, either one, you're just going to earn 25% of their first order. So whatever they buy, if they buy $100, then you would earn 25. If they buy a $200 product value bundle, then you would earn $50. Whatever they buy, you earn 25%. Now, that's unlimited. You can enroll as many people a month and always be able to earn that 25%. This bonus is very similar to what other gig businesses are all about. You do something one time and you get paid for it. You enroll a new customer, you're going to get paid for it. So this is your personal productivity, and you earn 25% of everything that they earn. Everything else I'm about to show you is what makes Manatech different from so many other gig businesses, because after the first order, many of your customers, many of your associates will continue to buy ongoing orders. And so we have an entire compensation plan built around rewarding you for those ongoing orders. Now, again, there's many, many different ways of earning income. I just want to kind of show you a very simplified methodology for the ongoing orders. So the first way is this is just built around your customers, your preferred customers. I talked earlier about there's two ways people can join, either associate or customer. Let's just talk about your customers. So essentially, you're paid for your what we call personal point volume, which is your PPV. That's your own order. You can actually earn on your own order, but then we add in all of your customer volume. And you see there in that little chart, as long as you have 200 points or more, again, your own order plus your customers, you're going to have that 200 points for sure. As long as you have 2 or more customers, then you're going to earn 10% of that total. So whatever that total is, you're going to earn 10% of that. Now, if you have 500 points or more, then and 5 customers, 500 points or more and 5 customers, then you're going to earn 15%. So you see down there at the bottom that at 15% of 500 is $75. Now, the 500 is just a minimum. It could be 500, it could be 800, it could be 1,000. You could have 3,000 points of customer volume, and you would earn 15% of that. So the 75 is simply if it was exactly 500. So what we're trying to do here is we want you to build a pathway that is, we call it duplicatable, something that you could teach other people to do. And so if you think about the minimum as being that 500, now again, you can earn less amounts than that, but we really want all of our new associates to build that PPV circle to 500 points. We call that building a customer unit, so I can take that term and describe team building in just a minute. But that's what our goal is to help you reach that 500 point total. Now, I will tell you, just a little aside, that if you're new and you do this in your first month, we actually have something called a fast start bonus, where we'll double all those percentages. But I'll let Sharon and some others share that information with you. But it's just a really great way to kind of double some of your percentages in the beginning. So this is based around yourself and your customers. Now, the next step, what we're going to do is I want to show you what happens when you do some team building. What happens when you find other associates that want to build this business with you. You're going to help them do what you just did. So you're going to help those associates create a customer unit. Now they're finding customers, 2, 3, 4, 5 customers, maybe more, that are buying products on a regular basis. And then when that total reaches 500 PPV, if you have 2 of those, so 2 associates that did that, you qualify for what we call the Team 2 bonus. Very simple. You've got a team of 2 associates who built their 500 points, and it's called a Team 2 bonus, and it pays $125 in Australia and $135 in New Zealand. You still earn your power seller bonus, what we were talking about earlier. So you're at this point, you're probably total going to be around $200 per month. All right, so we're going to do this one more time. The next step is to be Team 4 qualified. That just simply means you have 4 associates that have built their 500 PPV amounts in a monthly basis, and that's Team 4. You're simply earning based on their purchases and their customer purchases. We just put it as a compensation plan called Team 4, but you're earning off of your associates' customers. And again, that gives this business so much more value than any other gig business. Imagine being in some other gig business and being able to invite people you know to be part of that business and be able to earn from what they do in that business. That's awesome. That's really being in business for yourself. That's what we get to do at Manatech. So when you have 4 associates that are finding customers and buying products for themselves, that's called Team 4. It's $315 in Australia. It's $350 in New Zealand. You're still earning power seller bonus. You can still earn first order bonus, those types of things. So you're going to be around maybe close to $400 per month at this level. Now, I do want to show you that we have more teams available. Just very quickly, you could build a Team 6. You could build to Team 8, and you could build to Team 10. This is kind of a new little promotion that we just put in. Just take a quick moment and give a plug. In August was the first month that we did this, and we had quite a few Australians that reached the Team 6 and the Team 8 level. But one Australian, I don't know if she's on this call or not, but Christy and Grant Sapwell qualified as Team 10. So I think that's pretty amazing. And that just means she's helped 10 associates on her team build those 500 PPV. But again, this is kind of an advanced level. I just wanted to show this to you. What we really focus on is the 4. If you can build Team 4, then you can build this business to as high of heights as you want to. And I just want to show you one more slide, and then we're going to be finished. So this is now back to just, you have your 4 associates. You've helped them build their 500 PPV customer units. And then the next step is, over time, you want to help each of them do the same thing. And that's what our business is about. It's about helping others do what you just did. And again, that's what really creates the leverage and the compounding in this business. So as the 4 people on your team, the 4 associates on your team, they now have found 4 or so associates to teach them the same thing. They've brought in enough customer volume and more associates buying product. They've created enough overall, what we call team volume, that you're now at a level that we call silver executive. We've got an entire leadership rank that I'm not talking about all the different levels tonight, but once you're at this level called silver executive, then you're at about $1,000 per month based on modeling. Now, again, some make more, some make less, but on average, they're well over $1,000. I meant to change this. Those are actually U.S. numbers. It's quite a bit more in Australia, New Zealand, just because of the currency exchange, but still, it's well over $1,000 per month at this level. And so this is really where I end my presentations, because once we can show you how you can reach this level, everything else, if you want to make more, it's just doing the same thing. It's finding more customers, creating that power seller bonus, your 10 to 15%, and then finding other associates and helping them do the same thing. And just continuing to do that. It takes time. It takes working with your team, and you can build that to wherever you want it to go. Maybe $1,000 a month is your goal, and you're very happy at that level. You're able to pay off some debt. You're able to maybe invest in your future a little bit, take your family on a vacation, whatever that might be. Right now, not many of us are traveling places. But again, we have thousands of associates that have reached this level of this part-time income. And that's what people are looking for in the gig economy today. So 110,000 people joined the gig economy in August in Australia. Imagine being able to have a portion of those join your Manatech team and being able to show them how, because of our products, because of our science, because of the demand for our products, this is a great gig business. But understanding the difference in our business and what they might be joining, on some app, is that you don't have to start from zero every single month. You can build an asset that can pay you month after month after month. It's phenomenal. Then, of course, we have our M5M. I love this foundation that simply it's our donation through consumption program that people, just by buying products on a monthly basis, the company makes a contribution to M5M so that foundation can provide these incredible nutrients to really hurting children all over the world. And right now we're supporting about 100,000 children every single month. Literally millions of servings are going out every single month because of M5M. So that's the presentation. Let's get started. Whether you're on here, you've been in this for 20 years, you know what? This is a great time to really get focused and motivated about your business. If you're on here and maybe you've only been in for 20 weeks or 20 days, this is a great time to get motivated and focused on your business. You have the opportunity to build something very special, very unique. In one sense, we're a lot alike of these other gig businesses that are out there. It's very easy to join. You can do this on your own time. You can do it part-time. You don't have to put people in your car and your homes and that sort of stuff. But in many other cases, we're very different in that you can build long-term financial freedom through this asset that you can create, your Manatech business, because of a lot of the valuable benefits that I talked about in this presentation. So Sharon, I am finished on my end. I just want to kind of turn it back over to you. I appreciate you having me on. Looks like we went over a few minutes, but I absolutely enjoyed sharing this with you this morning.
Everybody's loved it, Kevin. You should see the comments are just going crazy. So God bless you for being here with us on your Friday evening. Stole you from your family for an hour. We really appreciate it. And everyone, anybody listening to this, get back to the person who invited you to this, either live or to the recording. And there's no downside to Manatech, I can tell you. It only gets better the deeper you look. So Kevin, thank you very much. Everybody else, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, and we'll be talking mums and business.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.